Hi, I'm Dr. Kierrah and welcome to my channel. Today I have a yoga stretch that is really going to help to open the hips and also help if you are having tightness in your back. So we're going to get started in a butterfly position. So opening your knees up like a book and bringing the soles of your feet to touch. And depending on the level of intensity of the stretch that you like, the closer your heels of your feet are to your pelvis, the deeper of a stretch, and the further your toes are away, it will bring more of a relief to the stretch. So feel free wherever you are today to bring your heels in or your toes out, whatever feels comfortable for you today. And when you find a comfortable position for your feet, just kind of wiggling out in your hips, making sure that your sits bone is nice and connected down to the ground. And from here, you can take your hands and gently cup them over your fingertips, making sure that your chest is open and that your shoulders are up and down your back and that your neck is high and straight. And breathing here. Feeling the stretch in your hips and inner thigh. Breathing in through the nose and out through your nose. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths, really feeling the deepness of this stretch. It's our first pose in this flow, so let's just breathe into it as we welcome our hips into this movement. We begin to warm them up. From here, you can begin to gently flap your knees if that feels comfortable, warming them up just a little bit more. Then we're going to bring our knees to stillness. Inhale here, and on the exhale, begin to gently walk your hands out in front of you. Maybe you just want to stay right here. If that feels good, that's perfectly fine. Or you can inhale and exhale, walk your hands out a little bit further, kind of testing your limits today. There's a little discomfort, that's totally okay. If you feel that you're in pain, you feel any sharp pains, then begin to walk your hands back up. But a little discomfort, it's okay. We just want to breathe into it, inhaling and exhaling, intentionally bringing oxygen to the area of the body that's feeling uncomfortable, which I'm sure is your hips and your inner thighs. We'll stay here just for a couple of breaths. I'm sure you're feeling it, feeling the stretch. If you want to go even deeper, you can come down to your elbows. You can begin to curl your chin in, bring your chin to your chest and your forehead down to your feet. And on your next inhale, coming up and walking your hands back to your feet. We're going to close our knees like a book. We're going to stretch our feet out in front of us and just kind of pedal out our legs here, bringing some movement to our thighs. That was a very deep stretch, so I just want to counter it by wiggling our legs out. Okay, so now we're going to come on to all fours in a tabletop position. As we continue to warm up our hips and our low back, we're going to engage into some hip circles. So coming again to tabletop on the tops of your feet Inhale your hips forward and exhale, drop your hips over to the right side, coming around the left and back to center. Inhale, exhale, dropping your hips back down to the right, around the left and center. Every time you come to the center, inhale, and when you drop your hips, exhale. Doing some gentle hip circles here. I want to try to get at least 5 on one side. When you've reached your 5th circle, coming to stillness in the center. Readjusting if need be. Inhaling your hips forward and exhale, drop your hips over to the left side this time. Going down and around to the right. Remember, every time you inhale, when you come to the center, and exhale when you drop your hips. I'm sure you might hear some clicks and pops. And just like the other side, we want 5 circles to the left. Once you feel that you've done your 5, coming to stillness here. Staying in this tabletop position, bringing your right foot in between your hands and inhaling your arms up to a low lunge and exhaling your arms down to a goalpost position. Inhale here, and on the exhale, coming a little forward, stretching into this low lunge. Feeling that stretch in the hips. We'll just be here for a moment. Coming down with your hands framing that right foot. We're going to switch to the left side. Bringing that left foot in between your hands. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling your arms down into that goalpost position. Inhaling here and exhale, dig a little deeper into that low lunge. Beautiful. Just staying here for a moment, bringing your hands down to frame your foot, bringing your foot back to meet your other. We're now going to come down to our stomach with our legs stretched out behind us. You're going to take your left hand and cross it in front of you, placing your forehead on the top of your hand and taking your right hand and grabbing your right ankle or your tops of your right foot for a nice quad stretch. Sometimes when we have stiffness in our low back, it's often because we have tight quads. So we're going to stretch them out here. We're here for a couple of breaths, remembering to breathe in through your nose and exhale through your nose. On the next exhale, dropping that right foot and switching to the other side, this time placing your forehead on your right hand. Bringing that left foot up. And you know, this might be a deep stretch enough for you, and that's okay. But I do want to invite you to take that left hand and grab your left foot or ankle if it is within your reach, and placing your forehead down onto the top of your right hand for a quad stretch to the left side. Remembering to breathe into that quad, sending oxygen to that left leg. One more breath here. And exhale that foot down. We're going to go into a child's pose just for a moment. Coming back into that tabletop position, knees the width of the mat, big toes to touch. Inhale here, and on the exhale, guide your hips down to the heels of your feet. Inhale here, and on the exhale, gently walk your hands out in front of you, placing your forehead down to the mat for child's pose, tucking your chin into your chest. Just taking a moment to gather and collect yourself here, feeling a deep stretch into the hips and the low back. On your next inhale, gently walking your hands up to your knees. We're going to transition onto our back. Taking your time. Coming onto your back, bringing your knees and feet up into a reverse tabletop. We're going to take your right ankle on top of that left knee, and we're going to thread our right hand through that hole of that figure four. And we're going to inhale and exhale, bring that left knee into the chest. And breathing here in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling the stretch in the hip, in that right hip, in this figure four. On the next exhale, we're actually going to stay on this right side. We're going to extend that left leg out straight. That right knee is still bent. Inhale here, and on the exhale, we're going to guide that right knee over to the left side for a twist into that low back. So we just went from the right hip, and now we're focusing on the right side of our low back. Taking your gaze over to the right as your knee is being guided to the left. On your next inhale, we're going to bring our knees, both knees back up into that reverse tabletop position. All right, now we're going to do the opposite side. So this time taking your left ankle on top of your right knee, and then taking your left hand and threading it through that figure four, bringing one palm on top of the other. Inhale here, and on the exhale, slowly guide that right knee into your chest. Feeling the stretch in that left hip. Utilizing your breath to guide oxygen to that left side, to that tightness and tension. And exhaling, releasing. And just as we did on the other side, we're going to transition into a twist for the low back. On your next exhale, we're going to straighten out that right leg. That left knee remains bent. Inhale here, and on the exhale, guiding that left knee over to the right side and taking your gaze over to the left side. Twisting into that low back. On the next inhale, we're going to bring both of our knees up back into that reverse tabletop. We're going to guide our knees into our chest and wrapping our arms around our legs, giving ourselves a tight hug, thanking ourselves for showing up for our mind and our body today. You can gently begin to rock side to side, massaging your low back. Inhale here, coming to stillness, and on the exhale, we're going to stretch our legs down in front of us, stretching our arms down to the side with our palms faced up, flat on our back. You can gently close your eyes or take a soft gaze to your nose here. Breathing into Savasana, resting your mind and your body for one moment. Beginning to bring some movement to your fingers and toes, waking your body back up, bringing the soles of your feet to your mat, gently dropping your knees over to one side, just long enough to press yourself up. Coming back into a seated position. I hope your hips and your low back are feeling nice and loose. I hope you were able to release some tension and some tightness in those areas. As always, I thank you so much for practicing with me today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next session. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and leave me a comment. Be sure to turn on your bell notification so that you're notified of the next video.